We are live. Hey, everybody. Happy
Hi,
Tuesday. Hey, Becky. Happy to have you here.
nice to be here. Good to see you.
Yeah,
Nice to
fun
see
to
you.
be here. Always nice to see you, too. It's one of those simple things that makes me very, very happy. Connecting with friends, there's a lot of very simple things that I do in my life to make it fun and enjoyable and really exciting, from one day to the next for me because you've just retired. I am not retired. I have four kids. My oldest is living in a group home, but then my three younger kids, I have two in college and one in boarding school. So people have been asking online this year, well, where are you going on vacation? And I kind of feel like a
I'm
dweeb.
going to the bank to pay for school.
I was saying, yeah, my vacation this year involved freshman orientation, and then my other vacation is going to involve moving my kids to school. So I'm traveling, but it's not like, this exciting, like going to the beach kind of thing, which is kind of like not very sexy, I have to admit.
Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do.
Yeah, when you've got two kids in college and y'all were paying pretty much all of it, and one in boarding school and ditto. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. So,
Yeah.
things like vacations
How,
just
how about those
don't
ramen
happen.
noodles?
How about those ramen noodles, baby? And so, yeah, finding enjoyment and, really having, a good life, even though we're not doing all of the extravagant things that people say we should do.
This extravagance is something of the last 20 years. And I say that in that I grew up uh, I grew up in a rather privileged way. And that being said, people didn't jet off to Europe all the time like they do now. Holy crap. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
people weren't skiing in Aspen 3 times a year.
Mm-mm.
That is a phenomenon of the last 2 decades. And I kind of think we're heading back to those simpler times. I think that
I see a lot of people doing a lot of traveling or, in-state vacations or doing stuff. But, I have to confess, I looked at, going to Asheville for a few days this summer because I live in North Carolina. Asheville is a couple hours away from me. I was like, for $200, $300, $400 a night, I'd rather stay home and do other things at home. And there's so many things that we do from a day-to-day basis, to really, simple enjoyment. We were talking before we got on because I just added two new fishies to my tank today. I was the last of the big spenders, y'all. I spent 37 cents a fish. And I get the cheapo comments because we've bought the expensive koi and I had a big, huge, fat, beautiful koi and my son overfed it. So I haven't done that again because they tend to not survive in the tank. But the 37-cent comments do pretty well. And
and
yeah,
what did I say when you told me that?
you actually outshopped me because you got the 17-cent comments
I got 3.
and you
And I
got three of them.
and I put them in the pond that I made this summer. My husband and uh, I wanted to surprise him. He was on a trip with my brother, and I wanted to surprise him with the pond. And I got as far as I could, but then I couldn't because I couldn't lift the rocks. So he had to help with the rocks, and then he helped me with a lot of stuff. But it's really fun because we have waterfalls and we have plants, and I just added 3 fish to this pond. And I I ordered 2 Adirondack chairs from Walmart, and lo and behold, they came in a box. They weren't put together like the ones in the store. So I have to put those together. But I find myself sitting out with my Kindle in front of my pond, listening to the water run and feeling my pets come and join me because there's a pet
Mhm.
frog in the pond, and my one dog just loves his pet frog. But my point is, these are very simple things, and you can say, well, you're retired, you can do that.
Mhm.
Even when I was working, I made a point of of making time to smell the roses, and I
Mhm.
had to learn to do that because I got
Mhm.
overwhelmed. But enjoying those simple things. I bought a butterfly bush today. I'm going to enjoy looking at the butterflies on the butterfly bush.
Mhm.
I made myself a drink with mint from my garden, and I'm enjoying that. Um, I found a piece of paper from a friend of mine, and she died 2 years ago. She was my dearest friend, and she had had a very complicated life and of her own doing. She made a mess of things, and in the mess, she got to a point where she said, "Oh God, I will do anything. Please, please save me." And what she did was go off to Alcoholics Anonymous, and she had 40 years when she died.
Mhm.
And she found a way to simplify her life. She did things like not make 2 appointments in one day. Now, obviously, that's not talking about business when she was working in business. But if she's having lunch with you, she's not having dinner with somebody else. She was keeping it simple.
Mhm.
And she gave me this thing, and I found it today, and it's called Just for Today. And she said, in this one paragraph, just for today, I will have a quiet half hour all by myself and relaxed. During this half hour, sometime, I will try to get a better perspective of my life. And I thought, whoa, and here we go. She said, I will have a program. I may not follow it exactly, but I will have it. I will save myself from two pests, hurry and indecision. And I thought about this. And when you're not living a simple life, you're often in a hurry. And when you're in a hurry, you're overwhelmed. And when you're overwhelmed, you become indecisive, you become ineffective. And I have a darling friend, and he knows two switches on and off. If he's on the off switch, it means he's asleep. If he's on the on switch, it means he's working. So, he works 20 hours a day and crawls into bed literally when he gets home, whatever that is, gets up
Mhm.
in the morning, works out, and then gets to the office by 5, and it goes all over again.
Mhm.
And it's not manageable. He's depressed, he's overwhelmed, he's sad, he's whatever. And my husband and I were talking about this, and I think, you make choices. Okay, so you're making a ton of money, but you can't enjoy it because you're too tired. And you can't really have a relationship because you're working
Yeah.
all the time. So I guess this is a separate show called Balance, and we can
Mhm.
talk about that another time. But the concept of enjoying the simple things, like sitting outside by the fountain, looking at the three little 17-cent fish swimming around, and the frog that jumps in and out, that just thoroughly entertains my dog.
And they
Drinking,
don't know that they're 17-cent fish.
no,
They're
they're
just big,
pretty.
fat, happy, sassy fish.
Yeah, and I too had some very pretty bigger fish, and the blue heron came and ate them all on New Year's Day. So I've got Manny Mo and Jack swimming around in the pond for 17 cents, and it makes me very happy. But I think about this, and what are some of the simple things? And I have to say stop sometimes and breathe because I can get ahead of myself, get way over my skis.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
what is going to make things simple, and simple to me is having a pizza. Simple is having some tangerine juice with mint from my garden, getting out my Kindle and reading some latest novel that isn't going to require me taking notes or being sharp about, but just simply enjoying and seeing what happens
Mhm.
next.
And it's just like, for me, it's simple things like taking a long hot bath. or going for a walk with my husband every night, cooking dinner and having dinner with my family, sitting down to a meal together is something we do every day, ritualistically in our household.
That's really, really neat.
And I won't say that it's the most sedate affair, because it's usually not.
Noisy crew.
It's a loud, boisterous, noisy crew. And to say that they're a little bit wild would probably be an understatement. Breaking out into song and dance is not unheard of. And having a cat go sashaying across the middle of the kitchen table probably happens more often than not. But it's the simple things, and really finding enjoyment in each and every single day to kind of, relax, recharge, and keep going.
Joy. Joy doesn't necessarily mean a 4-carat diamond. Joy can be dinner with the family and everybody's laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, or
really
singing the Wellerman Song.
The what song?
The Wellerman Song.
I don't know this song.
Yeah, look it up. It's one of the sea shanties.
Okay, I will.
My boys will sing sea shanties. It's like I said, it's a 3-ring circus.
But you know what? You're going to have an empty nest come the fall, and you're enjoying
about 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and speaking of which, we all are living in very precarious times. We don't know what next week's going to bring, and I don't know what the future is. Not that I ever did, but I had more confidence in the stability of things 5 years ago and 10 years ago. I did not have a lot of confidence and stability after 9/11. But I have, since 2020, lost the confidence and the stability again. And it can really get the better of you. I mean, I'm grinding my teeth and waking up at night. But I feel, how can I keep things simple? I can keep things simple by getting my house in order and taking care of things one at a time and not biting off more than I can chew. And I said, I bought a butterfly bush today. I intend to enjoy the butterflies and watching them. And uh, I have a ritual at nighttime where I watch the stars, um, or the thunderstorms. So I think that if we all do our work and do what's required of us and say our prayers and enjoy the simple things, I think that's making the most of what we've got.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody's blood pressure would step down a bit if we did that.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to turn off the news.
Oh, yeah.
Is another step. Turn off the news,
electronics.
Turn off the talk show hosts. Those talk show people, all the opinions and stuff just amp us up a million miles a minute. Turn off the electronics. I don't take them in my bedroom at night.
I think that's a great idea.
I just don't.
I take my Kindle in. If I want to read, I'll take my Kindle in. I'll keep it there if I can't sleep. But I don't take my phone. I agree. I just, enough already.
I'm sure people are shocked that I don't have my cell phone in the bedroom, and I just don't.
I had a very disturbing thing happen to me, and this is another part of this. Um, I've lost track of my days, but sometime last week, um, I got I got an email from Amazon saying that they had just charged my account $52 and change because I hadn't returned something. Well, they had sent me a defective product, and I called them and I said, it's missing the main piece. I have, this, but it's kind of like sending the car without the steering wheel. It's like, what? And they said, oh, here, don't worry about it. Just throw it away. We'll send you a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh no, I've been sent an email saying, well, you didn't send the old one back, so now we're charging you. So I got to deal with that. And I was sitting talking to my husband and fussing about that and saying, it's very hard to deal with Amazon because it's such a huge company. And when you call customer service, English is a second language, maybe a third language for a lot of the people, and they don't understand. Like, go ahead and throw it away. We're just going to send you a new one does not mean we're going to charge your account if you don't send it back in 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fussing about that. And I have my tablet and I hear ding because an email is in. Within 30 seconds of fussing to my husband, I have a spoof email from Amazon, but it's not Amazon, it's from China,
Oh, a phishing email.
saying, please click here about the item to be returned. We'll make it go away if you just click here, and we'll put back the $52 and change. It had heard every word I said
Mm-hmm.
and knew my email and sent me an email, which
Mm-hmm.
scares the crap out of me that this is so real. This is so 1984 and therefore so complicated. And I don't want that kind of life. I want a much simpler life. And I have friends who are turning off Facebook, who are turning off Twitter, who are turning off all of these
Mm-hmm.
things because they don't want the complications anymore. And I think there's something to be said for that. I am not there yet, but I
Mm-hmm.
will be there at some point.
Yeah.
I like Facebook because it is my way of staying connected to people in my hometown, 600
Mm-hmm.
miles away. Um, but this is nuts. And talk about power and talk about out of control power. Yikes. Not so.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a ton of spoofing, especially coming out of Eastern Europe.
Is that
Former
right?
Soviet blocs, massive
Okay.
amounts of hacking coming out of former
I guess
Soviet
that's
bloc
not new. They
countries.
were always good hackers. I guess that's not new.
That has not changed. That's a lot of the source of a lot of the spoofing and most of the sources of cyber attacks at this point.
Okay.
But yeah, turning off the devices, keeping things simple. And Tish says, "Hey Google, do you like hearing my hubby snore every night?" Yeah, same. Hey, Alexa, do you like the sound of my snoring?
What is Tish saying here?
The daily briefings from the federal and local politicians in Canada were brutal. Yeah, they watching the news at times, you have to understand the news machine in every country, right? It's to get more sales, to get more eyeballs. What do? They sensationalize. They go after the most sensational things. And the more we feed into that, and the more we watch that, and the more we absorb that, and the more we watch of that, and the more we give them our time and our eyeballs, the more of that we get. And it doesn't help our mental health.
I agree. And well, I agree.
And this is all, at the end of the day, this all boils down to, maintaining our mental health and our physical health and taking care of ourselves a little bit at a time.
One project at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said, I cut down to watching Question Period on Sundays, just a summary of daily instead of a daily broadcast. Yeah, exactly. Right. My husband actually doesn't look at the news anymore. He's like, well, if it's really important, I figure somebody will tell me. And, sure enough, when it's really important, he hears about it.
Well,
he stays off the talk shows. He Doesn't listen to that. He listens to a lot of classical music. And he's a lot happier because of it. There's a lot to be learned there.
There's a song on a CD that I've been listening to by a Brazilian woman named Eliane Elias, and she wrote this song called "The Simplest Things," and it really got my attention. And that was one of the impetus for tonight's topic, because life's pretty complicated out there right now, and if I
it has been for a while, you know. We just
yeah. If I can enjoy a good pizza, a good dessert, a good drink, an hour by the fountain, having the dog sit in my lap, it's that doesn't mean I am abdicating responsibility. It just means I'm taking care of myself. And I think that's really important to do.
Yeah, the self-care piece. I can't overstate how important that is. One of my realizations 3 years ago now was if I didn't take care of myself, nobody else was going to. Not my husband, not my kids,
right?
Not my clients, me first. And I had to learn to not care so much whether they were going to be upset that I was cooking something that they didn't want to eat for dinner or whatever. And it really helped. You know, paying attention to me first, my own mental health, my own physical health, all of those things has to come first.
Hey, like on the airplane, when the masks drop, put yours on first.
Put your own oxygen mask first. And, you know,
and if you have 2 kids, put it on the one with the most promise.
Potential.
I heard somebody say that and I laughed so hard. Oh my goodness.
Decide which one you like better.
Summer is renewal for me. The flowers come, the trees come out. The katydids at night, the cicadas. And I realized I was sitting outside the other night and I heard a single engine airplane fly overhead, and I heard somebody mowing their lawn. And I closed my eyes and I thought, this could be 1965. It's the same sound, same sound I had out of my bedroom window as a child. Lawnmowers and katydids, and it was simpler because I was a child. So I can have bits and pieces of that as an adult. And
hashtag sometimes adulting sucks.
Yeah, it really has in the last year. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for choices. I'm grateful for friendships. I'm grateful for the simple things that have gotten me through these very difficult days. And
totally, me too. Thank you guys. And thanks, Tish. Hashtag sometimes
adulting sucks.
Yep. Welcome to my life. Anyway, we'll talk soon. Thank you guys for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much. And we'll see you next Tuesday.
See you guys. Take care.
Good night.
Night.